Hey, how's it going? Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about how you can kill it for 2020. What's the best mindset to have your best year yet, essentially. And the reason I wanted to create this video was that I realized how much of an impact your internal game, your internal dialogue makes to business, essentially, especially where you're self-employed and it's just you, like you're the only one in control. Like you need to have the right attitude. I mean, I've been on both sides of it. I've been the excited new trainer, I've been the hungry trainer, I've been the tired trainer as well, I've been the fed up trainer, and I know exactly, I can remember exactly what I was thinking, how I was feeling, and and how that affected my business as well. So I just want to share with you, especially if you're a new trainer, or or someone who just wants some ideas in terms of maybe a new approach for your personal training business, especially if you're working in a gym, like Pure Gym like I am, or something similar like the Gym Group. So the first point I've got here in terms of how you can kill it for 2020 in terms of your attitude is you need to kill your ego first of all. Now the ego is something that I've been thinking about a lot, because as human beings, it's one of those things that you're born with, essentially. It's something, it could be it might be, it ties into your soul, your spirit. It's what makes you feel good, what makes you feel happy, your insecurities, passions. It's all tied into the ego, and you need to keep this under wraps, because if you let it get out of hand, it's going to really affect your business. So for example, I had a really tough period last year where I was really, I don't know where I got the illusion. I think I got the illusion that I didn't need to, maybe essentially I got tired of selling and picking up clients and losing clients, and I think I got to a stage where I forgot what got me to a certain position. When I had a situation where I think I got up to 37 clients at one point. I think that was the most I got. And I kind of forgot all the things that got me there. All of a sudden I felt like I was too good to teach classes. I was too good to really sell people. Like I kind of felt like I got to a stage where, I was looking for the ideal client. I even went as far as I even created a spreadsheet of what my ideal client was and the traits. And I felt like unless I got that client, I wasn't trying to entertain anything else. It even got to the point where, if someone was, I had the attitude. I actually created a video about, I've created a few videos in that period, and I think I've actually possibly removed a couple because they were so kind of negative. Like I had one about the downsides of personal training. I had one about how to get clients to respect your business, which I'm not sure is still up. I have to have a look. But basically I had the attitude that, anyone can go. I think just out of frustration and kind of, I don't want to say rejection is the word, but when enough people leave you, you kind of feel like, kind of forget this, but that's essentially part of the game. People aren't going to train with you forever. I think, and also what messes you up is if you, as I'm going to get onto and another point, is that if you start looking at other people, and looking at what they've got, maybe they've got clients that be with them forever, and you've got clients that are struggling to pay you the lowest amount, like even like $150 a month, for example, and you look at other clients that have other trainers that have clients that are training with them 3-4 times a week and they've been with them for years. You might start looking at your clients like not really appreciating them, and and that's all tied with the ego as well. Like even like, for example, someone cancels last minute, how does that make you feel? If someone says they can't train with you anymore, or someone books in for a free assessment and they come half an hour late. I actually had an attitude where I started cancelling these. Like if someone was 5 minutes late, I would cancel the whole assessment and reschedule it if I had the time. And that was just pure ego, and literally that messed up my business hardcore. Like literally, I got to the point where I didn't want a client unless they were ready to go straight away. Like if they were trying to give me any objections of I can't do this, or this is too expensive, in my head I was like, they probably can't afford it. If they're only gonna come for 1 month and mess me around, I don't want them anyway. And that was really a really toxic attitude to have. And also in my mind, I felt like if I could boost my profile and be that kind of not that guy, but that kind of build a kind of reputation for myself, I'd have essentially clients coming to me. My thing was, obviously I'm based in Canary Wharf, so there's a lot of people with a lot of money in the area, but there's a lot of gyms and a lot of trainers as well. So my thing was, I need to boost my profile to be the most desirable, essentially, trainer in the area, be like a Rolls Royce. And I thought I got it completely mixed up, where I thought that was me boosting my profile. That's why I done my competition, and I tried to do as well as I could. Got professional pictures, spent loads of money trying to get myself out there, done all this social media, this and that, and essentially it was silly attitude to have. Whereas, what I really should have done, and what I've started doing in terms of being a Rolls Royce, being that go-to person, is just providing the best service possible. It's a case of, doing all the extras, you being the servant. Like, I got to the point where, I was like, I would even get upset about how certain clients would speak to me in terms of, one client said something about, I would pick that weight up, but that's what I'm paying you for. And that really got on my ego, like what am I, like, what I'm saying? Like, what is this? Like, am I paid? Like, but essentially, he was right, and the customer's always right. And as soon as I let my ego get in the way, like, business just nosedive. So, number one, kill the ego. You're no one special. You're there to provide a service, and just provide that service as best as possible with a smile on your face. And eventually, when you do enough of that, maybe you can get yourself into another situation. But if you want to be famous and have people treat you a certain way, then I don't think personal training is the right job for that, to be honest. Maybe you should look into something else. All right, next is, yes, you are a salesman. Number one, before you're a trainer, you're a salesman. And I really had to understand this. Again, as I was saying, I was expecting people to come to me and want to train with me and give me money, and me not have to put the effort. And again, this ties into ego. For example, approaching people on the treadmills. For me, that was always a last case scenario. That is, when I'm down to my last, £1,000 in my account. Now that's going to force me to start knocking on doors and going up to people on treadmills and going up to people on the gym floor. And like, I remember, because that, I'd done that at a stage where times were really tough, like when I, in my first couple months as a trainer. And, I got to the point where I was having so many clients and making so much money, I thought that was kind of beneath me, or, because essentially you're putting your ego on the line. If you approach someone on the treadmill, obviously you can meet some great clients, obviously, but you can get some crazy rejections, like people looking at you crazy, like absolutely crazy. And that's happened to me before, and it actually burns your ego. But essentially anyone in the world of sales, in any field, will have to go through that process. Look at those people that knock on door to door, people that sell charity on the streets, people that, even professional people working for big companies, essentially they're going to experience those kind of painful blows to the ego and rejections. Like, if you're having to do a presentation in front of a department or some key people, I speak to one of my clients who does kind of sales and sales technology to the finance sector, and he was even telling me about even other people in the industry acting unprofessional and saying, why are you wasting my time? And he call them up and they say, oh, don't call this number again. Like, imagine those people that have to do the cold calls, like PPI calls. You've had them. Like, essentially it's all sales, and they have to do what they have to do for the commission, and they must get some crazy rejections, people shouting at them on the phone. And essentially, you're a salesman, you're gonna have to do that. And I actually said to myself, if there's ever a time where I'm feeling like I don't feel like doing it, I say to myself, if I'm not willing to do this, then I'm in the wrong job. I'm not a personal trainer. So all my strategies I've spoken about classes, inductions, answering the door, for example, posters, these are all good, these are effective, but essentially it's kind of the easy way out, and it's a way to get clients without risking putting your ego on the line, essentially, because you do a class and people want to do an assessment afterwards, they do it, you're not really risking any rejection. But when you approach someone on the treadmill, essentially the power's in their hands, and you just have to get over yourself. Essentially, if you've got a target and you want to aim for what you want to aim for, you want to achieve your goals and aspirations, you're just going to have to do it, and it's just part of the game. But don't get me wrong, for every 10 great ones, for every one bad one experience, you're going to have about 10 great ones, and you're going to make a difference to a lot of people. So you just have to do it and swallow your pride. So yeah, being a salesman, you're a salesman, so that's really important. The next is having patience and persistence, and this is especially linked into sales as well. So if you're sitting across from someone and they're giving you all the reasons why they can't sign up, or someone might say, I need to be a bit fitter before I can train, which is an outrageous objection, but people do come up with that. Or people might say, let me think about it, or I'm not sure if this will work, or just loads of objections, loads of stalls and reasons why they shouldn't sign up with you to train. You just have to be patient and persistent, just hang in the cell. Like a lot of times, like with my ego and everything, like 6 months ago, I'll be like, oh, do you know what? Don't worry, I don't have time for this, and lose patience, and then lose the cell. And if you lose enough of those cells, your money, you're gonna lose clients. It just happens, just the nature of the game, and your money's gonna dip. Like literally, whether someone can only afford once a week with you, or afford only a little bit of money, I know everyone wants the person train with them 4 or 5 times a week, but to get to that, you're gonna have to go through the people who only can train with you once a week, and you need to appreciate them as much as you appreciate the person paying you 400 or 500 plus a month, versus someone who's paying you 150, 160, 100, whatever your lowest cost is, and just have respect for all of those people the same way. And yeah, just have the patience, and they all count. If someone's only training with you once a week, or whatever your lowest one, if you're only writing one program, it still counts. It's still money. You need to still celebrate those as much as someone who's training you 4 or 5 times a week. Like they're all important. And even in terms of how clients, sometimes clients might try cancel last minute or ask you to reschedule last minute. Now I'm still trying to figure out, I've had to essentially draw a line under, what I accept. I used to not, charge anyone for any illnesses, but essentially that was really, I think that was damaging to the business essentially. But maybe that was the ego again. I still haven't found a concrete solution, but essentially, I'm still sticking by my 24 hours cancellation policy. But I will, if there's an exception, then obviously, customer service is important, and you need to really retain your clients. So I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm going to do a video in terms of my concrete findings, but essentially, you don't want to disagree with people anyway. If someone wants to reschedule, then tell them to reschedule. You can reschedule, but essentially market that they've potentially missed it. But again, this is something I need to get my head around. But essentially, you want to be patient with people, give people the best service possible, be understanding as well if you want them to hang around. Essentially, the next one is you want to stay hungry, stay humble. Obviously, that's a popular Anthony Joshua line, and it's so essential, like, to success in probably every field. The hunger, you really need that hunger to succeed in this, because you're dealing with people at the end of the day, and people can be very, very flaky, especially when it comes to fitness. So you always need to be on the front foot, always looking for new clients. There is never enough in my book. As long as, if your schedule allows it, if you've got white space in your calendar, fill that up somehow. You need to keep working, you need to keep pushing, never stop. There's a popular quote I've written on my whiteboard by Winston Churchill. It's success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to keep going that counts. And that's so important, because if your business is not growing, it's dying. Essentially, like, you might get to your dream number of clients, but you need to still be hungry, because clients will go. Clients might have to leave the gym for whatever reason. They might get to the result and stop training. They might not get to the results and stop training, which obviously is not really something that you want. But let's be realistic, things happen. And so you always need to be on the front foot. And again, stay humble as well. Like, the way you treat your clients, the way you treat your colleagues, the way you treat everyone. As soon as you start acting or feeling like the guy, then, that's when things start messing up and the ego inflates. So, and things start going wrong. So you need to really, stay hungry, stay humble. Very important. And yeah, as I touched on earlier, you want to be on your own journey Do not look at others. It can be very tempting, especially, you know, let's say you got a quiet period or you haven't got a client for, you know, anytime you haven't got a client and everyone else is training, it can be hard not to look at them and think about what they're doing and what you're not doing and why they're busy and why you're not busy. I mean, it happens in every field. I mean, for example, you go to the barbers, you've got the quiet barber there, you know, you know he must be going through some certain kind of thinking a certain kind of way, especially if people are, you know, he's been quiet for a few hours, you know. And it's the same for your personal training. Like, you know, if you're on your own and you're not trying to train any clients, it can be easy to start watching other people and start feeling sorry for yourself or start feeling resentful. Like, I've been there, and it's a toxic way to think, and it can affect your mood. And, you know, and when opportunity does come your way, you might not even grab it, you might not even notice it, because you're so, in your mindset is not right, you're so frustrated, maybe you feel a bit embarrassed. And you just have to just focus on you. Like, you know, if you're anything like me, you came into this industry with Pure Gym. You know, there's other people that come from other places, different experience levels. You know, some people have been in the industry 10 years deep. You know, some people are brand new. Like, you can't look at someone who's brand new and you know, and compare yourself to them or someone who's been, you know, it's just completely different journeys. So you need to just focus on you, do you, and just focus on your own path, because the more you look at other people, that's going to slow you down. It's not going to do anything for you, because that person's not thinking about you. You know, like, just focus on you. And last one is you need to focus on your motivation, so your reasons why. And this seems a bit like a cliche, a bit played out, but it's literally so important. Like, when you're you know, not feeling the mood, or something's dragged you down or affected your mindset, what's going to make you get back up and approach that person on the treadmill? When someone tells you to basically to go away, or they're not interested in what you've got to offer, or they don't want to listen to you, or is rude to you, what's going to make you get up and talk to the next person, go to the next treadmill? What's going to do that? What's going to make you stand there on your own when, you know, everyone's busy and, you know, no one's giving you eye contact, or, you know, people being rude? Like, what's going to keep you going? And, you know, that's, you know, these are the self-talk that you need to have in your mind. For me, you know, obviously, I've got my, you know, my girlfriend's a big inspiration. You know, obviously you want to have a good enough, you know, give her a good enough lifestyle and yourself a good enough lifestyle. Obviously she works, so, but in terms of, you want to, you know, be able to enjoy life with her. You know, I want to go on holidays. I want to, you know, live somewhere nice. I mean, we want to get a pet. We want to get a dog, and obviously that's gonna cost money, essentially. And, you know, we want to move to a new flat. That's going to cost money to move, and just to maintain a current certain kind of lifestyle is going to cost money. And that's something that, you know, for me, that's a big reason why. For you might have kids, and that's a big motivation, putting food on the table. You know, you might be saving up to buy a property. For me, I even look at you guys as big motivation. That's, you know, you actually give me extra motivation in the gym, because I feel like if I can't be an example and do it myself, how can I expect you guys to do it? How can I speak on this? You know, if I'm not making a certain amount of money, how can I have the confidence to do these videos? And literally, I haven't done a video for ages because my client numbers dipped so low. I felt like such a hypocrite. I felt ashamed. I couldn't do these videos. Now I've managed to get myself up to 32 clients for January. Like, literally, I'm going to do another video in terms of a full review, but yeah, I had to get myself up to a certain level of numbers before I even felt confident to do these videos again. So again, so you guys have been a massive inspiration. I appreciate the messages that you send me on Instagram and the questions and the feedback. It's all really gives me extra drive to do this, so I can keep doing these videos as well, so keep them coming. But yeah, you need to really find your motivations, and once you get those locked down, it's going to make a huge difference, trust me. So yeah, let me know any feedback you got, any comments regarding this topic. Hopefully you found this useful. Shout me on Insta, on this, Facebook, whatever. I don't really use social media as much, but I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. If I'm a bit slow, I apologize. Like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.